To depart the Lao capital, Vientiane, we rode a Laos-China Railway's high-speed train north.
High speed, except when we stopped in the middle of nowhere for a half-hour safety check.
Halfway through our journey, the terrain became mountainous and beautiful. Around Vang Vieng, which had vertical karst like a land version of Halong Bay, people were out in force, parasailing and riding hot air balloons, trying to capture the sunset. It was picturesque, and we worried that maybe we missed out not staying there. But the beauty held all the way through to our next destination, Luang Prabang.
Isn't that fun to say? Say it with me. Luang Prabang.
The first night we went across the street from our hotel to Atsalin restaurant. It was very busy and for good reason. The food was delicious. We enjoyed ginger stir fry, crispy fried spring rolls, and crispy pork noodle soup, washed down with a big beer lao. After dinner, we went for a walk. We checked out the motorbikes only wooden bridge, as well as helped a large toad make it across the road without getting squashed.
Which seems to happen frequently, based on the number of flat, dried-out carcasses.
Then we took a brief look at the night market, where a guy with a big fancy camera jumped up beside Heike and snapped John's picture at the same time as she took this one. Then he stole away into the night.
Weirdo.
As we walked around the town during the day, passing the plethora of hotels and restaurants on relatively uncrowded streets, it really didn't seem like there were enough people to sustain the infrastructure and amenities. But that's because the tourists are all off doing the same excursions at the same attractions at the same time, flooding those places with humanity. Then they come back to Luang Prabang for a nightly population explosion. Our wandering took us by many of the town's 33 temples and monasteries.
Half the locals must be monks.
Along the two converging rivers,
The mighty Mekong and the smaller Nam Kang.
occasionally passing a tourist area, like the National Museum, easily identifiable from distance by the dozens of white tour vans and copious chain-smoking Chinese day trippers loitering out front. Not popular with tourists was Wat Pa Huac, a historically significant and beautiful temple that almost everyone ignores, even though it's across the street from the museum.
It was so sparkly.
Over 350 stairs up the side of Fusi Hill, through the sacred bamboo forest, brought us to Wat Chom Si. Here we were treated to magnificent 360-degree views.
1 degree for each step.
While we were at the summit, a couple of local women brought caged birds to release as an offering, but first they went inside the temple to pray.
Those cages were too small. They need to release those birds right now.
We descended down the other side of the hill, passing multiple gold Buddhas and other statuary, plus a supposed footprint by Buddha himself, a Yeti-sized indentation in the rock surrounded by a small cement structure that really didn't lend itself to photography. Next, we walked across the wood bridge, then over a cement bridge and up to Wat Phu Quay, yet another monastery and temple complex on another hill. We had dinner at Bamboo Garden, which was local mixed with Thai. Heike had Tom Yum Jay.
I'm glad it was tasty, because I didn't have much choice.
John enjoyed larb moo. Although it sounds like beef, it's actually minced pork, wonderfully seasoned with fish sauce, chili flakes, lime juice, toasted sticky rice to give it some crunchy texture, and a wonderful assortment of fresh herbs to bring it all together. He also tempted fate with Luang Prabang sausage, which was delicious, but different in flavor and texture from the sausage incident stuff. We picked up some yummy donuts for dessert.
Yummy Donuts, an apt description and the name of the place.
Unexpectedly, the girl assisting us had the best English of any local we had encountered in Laos. The next day we took one of our patented long walks.
We really need to get going earlier, so we're not doing these in the peak heat.
As we strolled through neighborhoods, we got the impression of more Eastern-looking architecture, perhaps some Japanese or Korean influence. Few children and no adults smiled or spoke to us as we passed, unlike the friendly, outgoing locals of Cambodia. We walked through the university campus and eventually reached the bakery we had randomly selected as our destination. We picked up a variety of excellent treats, including crepe cake, tiramisu, a beef and egg bao, a papaya jam-filled bun, a house-made cake sandwich, and a bag of baguettes. We walked back a different way, along dirt roads. We passed cows in the ditch, 100 guys crowded in a circle boisterously cheering on cockfighting, a bunch of parents boisterously cheering on some teens playing soccer, and a woman selling skinned, singed, or unprocessed dead rats, squirrels, and something about the size of guinea pigs but with long tails, and she had a customer picking out his dinner. The next day we walked in the other direction along narrow dirt side roads. In typical Lao dichotomy, large new houses were next to tiny old shacks. There was the usual complement of goats, cows, dogs, and chickens, but other than the odd small bird or lizard, there was little wildlife. Our endpoint was a dock on the river, where everything opened up to showcase the beautiful landscape of this area. Having crossed paths with the mighty Mekong multiple times these past few months, this could be the last time we would see the storied river. That night we had dinner at Authentic Ramen. We had walked by it more than once, and the sign advertising unlimited noodle refills caught John's eye. But was this a mistranslation, since so many English versions of signs do not say what they actually mean here? The recently opened Chinese-style noodle soup restaurant makes hand-pulled noodles to order. We got succulent braised beef and flavorful vegetarian. It was outstanding, which this dog knew, so he made sure Heike gave him some of hers. Not being offered more noodles, John wasn't sure if the unlimited refills policy was correct.
Just ask them.
When he finally inquired, the friendly couple who owned the place happily made a second helping. Not wanting to run them out of business, John did not take full advantage and held himself to just the one refill. But it was so delicious he easily could have put away 2 or 3 more. On New Year's Eve, we did nothing crazy.
Because we're old.
We had some snacks and watched some shows, then hung out on our balcony to catch the fireworks. After spending day 1 of 2025 lounging, doing laundry, and making a video, we walked to dinner at a restaurant called either Ap Zab or Ava Sisters.
It's listed on Google twice.
It took a while for the food to come out, but it was worth the wait. The fruit smoothies were large and full of fresh pineapple and papaya. The papaya salad had a little kick to it and was one of the tops we've ever tasted. Heike's Lao red curry was full of delicious veggies and big on spiced, creamy coconut goodness. And John's traditional Lao spicy beef soup was full of greens and herbs and aubergine with a unique savory tang unlike anything else he's tried. The next day we checked out and made one more stop at Bing Chun.
I love my Bing Chung, and this one played the theme song.
Then we flagged down a tuk-tuk being driven by a man, and in the back was his wife.
Or possibly mother?
It was a tight squeeze with our bags and the lady back there, but she was very friendly and we made it work. It was our first trip in one of these Lao-styled rides, and not a moment too soon. Before we knew it, we were pulling up to Luang Prabang International Airport, where a turboprop plane would fly us out of Laos.
Let's go out with a